The Beast and the Bethany by Jack Meggitt-Phillips, Chapter 9, The Cunning Plan. A good night's sleep can do wonders for the brain. It can help sharpen your thinking, and if you are lucky, it can bring you answers to the most troublesome questions. Ebenezer was very lucky on that Wednesday morning because he woke up with a solution to the Bethany problem. The solution was a clever one, and it made Ebenezer smile as he thought about it. "Yes, that will do the trick," he said. He was excited and he wanted to show it by jumping out of bed. However, for some reason, his body was working a little slower than usual. The bones in his legs were aching, and it took him almost twice as long as it normally did to reach the bathroom. When he got there, he peered into the mirror and shrieked. There were wrinkles around his eyes, and his hair had lost some of its colour. The potion was wearing off. "I must get rid of that child," said Ebenezer to his reflection. Ebenezer brushed his teeth, used the loo, and soaked in his morning bubble bath. Then he got dressed and went downstairs. He laid out a mountain of food for Bethany on the breakfast table, and then to make sure she ate it, he put a sign on the table which read, "Do not eat." He returned to his room and pretended to be asleep. About an hour later, Bethany woke up and stomped downstairs while screaming an annoying song at the top of her voice. Ebenezer heard her chuckle with glee as she saw the food and the sign on the breakfast table. Ebenezer waited for exactly 30 minutes before returning to the kitchen. When he got there, Bethany was eating her fourth pan au raisin whilst reading one of Geoffrey's comics. There were 3 empty bowls of porridge next to her. "Oh no, what have you done?" asked Ebenezer with his very best horrified face he could manage in the face of such triumph. He was trying his hardest to pretend that he was cross with Bethany. "Breakfasted," she answered. "Oh, what a shame," lied Ebenezer. "I wanted us to have breakfast together so that I could take some time to tell you all about the beast's magical powers." "I thought you wouldn't want to have breakfast with a weakling." Bethany paused for a moment and lifted her head out of the comic. "What do you mean, magical powers?" Ebenezer had to stop himself from saying "whoopee" at this point. He couldn't believe how well his plan was going. "Never mind, I'll tell you another time. It won't work now anyway, you've already ruined it," he said. "No, tell me now," shouted Bethany. She banged one of her fists on the breakfast table, causing the jug of orange juice to wobble. All right, calm down," said Ebenezer. "All I wanted to tell you was that the beast has magical powers and that—" "Is the magical power having really bad breath?" asked Bethany. "No, and I won't tell you anything else if you interrupt me." Bethany pretended to zip her lips to show Ebenezer that she wasn't going to speak again. "Thank you. Here's how it works," said Ebenezer. "The beast can conjure up anything in its stomach. You simply ask it for something, then it wobbles and hums, and boom, it vomits out whatever you ask for." Bethany pretended to unzip her mouth. "I don't believe you," she said. "Magical beasts don't exist." "Ah, but they do, and there's one in this house. Do you see that baby grand piano by the window? Well, that came from the beast." Bethany stood up and marched over to the piano. She played Humpty Dumpty and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to make sure that it worked. "And have you seen the big television on the wall in the downstairs sitting room? The beast gave me that last month." Bethany walked into the downstairs sitting room. She watched 5 minutes of a cartoon to make sure that there was nothing wrong with it. She walked back into the room and peered at Ebenezer in a suspicious manner. She still didn't know whether to believe him. "So you can ask the beast for anything in the world?" she asked. "That's right," he answered. "Absolutely anything?" "Uh-huh." "Then why on earth did you ask him for a television and a tiny piano?" Ebenezer laughed. It was a good question. "I asked for the piano to annoy the neighbours, and I got the huge TV so that I would never have to read books," he answered. "But I've asked for much more interesting things from it before." "What's the most interesting thing you've got from it?" "A canoe, probably, or maybe that invisibility raincoat." "Oh, so it can give you magical things as well? That sounds very believable." "It doesn't matter whether it's believable or not," said Ebenezer crossly. "It's the truth. Look at my face. Does it look old to you?" "Your eyes are a bit wrinkly," answered Bethany. Ebenezer winced. "Never mind that. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't look like the face of someone who's about to turn 512. I look wonderful for my age, and that's thanks to a magic potion which the beast gives me every year." Bethany sat at the breakfast table and helped herself to another pastry. She frowned with concentration as she chewed and tried to make sense of everything that Ebenezer was telling her. It was a good 2 minutes before she asked him another question. Why? She eventually asked. Why what? He asked back. Why does the beast do it? Why does it just give people what they want? Now was the time for Ebenezer to lie. In order for his plan to work, Bethany had to believe everything that he was saying. Well, you see, the beast doesn't just do it for anyone, and there's a reason why I wanted to talk to you about this at the beginning of the day, he began in his most believable voice. The beast only performs magic for people who are well behaved from the moment they wake up, said Ebenezer. There's nothing the beast likes more than rewarding people for their good behavior. It will give anything to someone who has been good for a whole day. Bethany leaned forward in her chair. Her mouth dropped open in horror, causing a half-chewed piece of pastry to fall to the floor. It has to be all day. It can't be like for an hour or something. That's right. It has to be all day. Oh, pooh. Well, there's no point in me starting today then, because I've already been naughty. Now, where did I leave my catapult? Wait a moment, just wait, said Ebenezer, actually thinking about it. I believe it might still be all right. If you're well behaved for the rest of the day, then I might be able to persuade the beast to give you what you want. Bethany paused to think again. She picked the half-chewed piece of pastry from the floor and plopped it in her mouth. And the beast can definitely bring me anything I want, asked Bethany. There was a surprising amount of hopefulness in her voice. Yes, absolutely, answered Ebenezer. All right then, Ebenezer, for one day in my life I will be good, declared Bethany. After 3 seconds she frowned again. Can you show me how that works? Ebenezer tried his best to explain what it meant to be good. He told Bethany that if she wanted to get something from the beast, then she had to stop playing pranks and making mischief in the house. He told her that she could start being good by cleaning the cake off all the paintings and antiques she had tried to ruin. Ebenezer had hoped his plan would work, but he had never expected that it would prove such a success. Bethany cleaned every painting and antique within the space of 3 hours, and then she ate 2 bowls of broccoli after Ebenezer told her that she had to eat lots of food in order to be good. Bethany clearly wanted something from the beast, otherwise she would never have been so well behaved. Ebenezer soon became curious to know what it was, so he took her upstairs. I thought you said I had to be good for the whole day, said Bethany. Will the beast give me what I want after just a few hours? Yes, I'm sure it will, because you've been so very well behaved, answered Ebenezer. Ha ha, what a sucker, she said. Ebenezer stopped for a break on the 9th floor. The journey up the 15 flights was trickier now that his potion was wearing off. His knees felt a bit creaky and he was quite out of breath. What's wrong with you? Asked Bethany. And why do then seem to be even more wrinkles around your eyes? Never mind those, snapped Ebenezer. Tell me, what do you want from the beast? Okay, said Bethany, but only if you promise not to tell anyone. I double, triple, pinky promise, said Ebenezer. All right, let me whisper it to you. Ebenezer bent down and lent his ear to Bethany. She took a deep breath and blew a raspberry in his ear. None of your business, she said. Ebenezer took a deep breath before continuing up the staircase. Once he and Bethany reached the top floor, Ebenezer told her to wait. I'll be 1 moment, he said. I just need to go and the beast about your good behaviour. Ebenezer stepped through the rickety old door while Bethany waited impatiently outside. He woke the sleeping beast by poking its belly. Oh, what now, Ebenezer? It asked. It had been having a great dream about eating some tarantulas. You know how you said you would help me control Bethany? Asked Ebenezer. Did I really say that? How stupid of me. Yes, you did, and it would really help me if you could give Bethany whatever she asks for. I've managed to convince her to be good, but it'll only work if you pretend that you're rewarding her for her behaviour. I think you've mistaken me for some sort of performing monkey, Ebenezer. The beast licked its lips as it thought how much it enjoyed eating performing monkeys. Look, I'm not some sort of genie who grants children's wishes. Oh, I know that, said Ebenezer, and I'm so sorry to ask, but it would really help me. It's so much easier for me to feed Bethany when she's trying to be well behaved. Fine, let her in, said the beast, far from pleased. Bethany came into the room. The smell was worse than she remembered, and she had to try very hard not to say anything rude. I hear you've been a good little girl. Is this true? Asked the beast, studying Bethany carefully to see what weight had been gained. Oh, yes, I've been good for nearly 4 hours. I hear you can do magic. Is this true? Asked Bethany. By way of a response, the beast wiggled and hummed, and then it vomited out a top hat and a collection of handkerchiefs. It burped out a toy magic wand a few moments later. Wow, said Bethany, that's so cool. My sick looks nothing like that. Enough chit-chat, said the beast. What do you want from me? Bethany took an anxious stroll around the room. She fiddled with her jumper and chewed on her thumb. Ebenezer wondered what was making her so nervous. So you can give me whatever I want. Absolutely anything, she asked the beast. Pretty much, but you know this already. Come on, just tell me what you want. Bethany stood still. She took a deep breath. She closed her eyes while she made her request. I would like my parents, she said. What? Asked Ebenezer from the corner of the room. Stay out of this. It's none of your business, Bethany snapped. She turned back to the beast, sounding hopeful. Would you be able to bring back my parents for me? Apparently they both died in a fire. The beast smiled when it heard this. Its 3 eyes sparkled with joy. Hang on a minute, Bethany, said Ebenezer. I'm sorry, I should have told you before. The beast can't. Hush, hush, Ebenezer, snapped the beast. The young girl is quite right. You need to stay out of her business. Does that mean you can do it? Asked Bethany. Can you help me? Of course I can, said the beast. Look, this isn't funny, said Ebenezer. I really think you should stop this right now. Let's. Ebenezer was shushed by Bethany and the beast. They both told him off for being a nuisance. Now, Bethany, began the beast, if this is going to work, then I'm going to need you to tell me what your mummy and daddy looked like. Mum was a man with big ears and a moustache, and Dad was tall and blonde, she said quickly and excitedly. Then she took a moment to think about what she'd said. No, sorry, it was the other way round. Dad was moustached and big-eared. Mum was tall and not. Excellent. Now, what about their personalities? Were your parents kind and nice or cruel and nasty? Definitely kind and nice. I hear that they were the kindest, nicest. Bethany stopped speaking because there was a lump in her throat. She brushed away a pair of hot tears from her eyes. Can you really bring them back? Absolutely, answered the beast. Come and stand a little closer and hold open your arms ready. Bethany ran towards the beast. She held her arms open. The beast closed its 3 black eyes and shut its mouth. It wiggled and hummed, filling the whole room with the sound of its voice. Then all of a sudden the eyes opened again. It opened its mouth and vomited an enormous puff of smoke. Bethany dropped her arms, coughing and spluttering as she was surrounded by the black cloud. She wiped away the soot from her teary eyes and looked up at the beast in confusion. Oh, my mistake. There was nothing but the smoke from the fire, said the beast, laughing in her face. Bethany didn't enjoy the joke. She left the room without saying a word. That was horrible, said Ebenezer after she left. He didn't like Bethany, but he certainly didn't think she deserved to be tricked like that. It was necessary, my dear boy, said the beast. That girl won't be in the mood for any mischief or pranks for a very long time. But I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to reward her for being well behaved. Ebenezer, I told you that I would help you control her. I never said that I would be nice about it. The beast yawned. Now leave me alone. I want to finish my sleep.